That moment when I played the intro and then realized I edited the intro and just haven't uploaded the new one into StreamYard. It's fine. It's fine. There'll be better photos of Lana and Taja in the next one, I swear. Oh boy, it's one of those days. But regardless, welcome to the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where the tea is piping hot and we are ready to spill. I am president of the Fuck Ray fan club, Logan Murphy.
I am Lana, your local and resident diva extraordinaire, and I'm here to concur with you on the Ray.
That's about all that I need to say today. Hi, Lana. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Literally a minute. Like we were just... But
like we were backstage and then the intro played, so it's literally
just a minute.
A minute. I love it. Oh boy. Yes, it's been a few days since we recorded together for the Penthouse. Go check that out.
Please do.
Somewhere on the channel. But yes, The Amazing Race. We're back.
Yeah, we are back.
Episode 2.
Yes.
In Scotland.
Glasgow, Scotland.
I
love that.
So my context for Scottish people on television, and if you watch Drag Race, then you know, I get into my Scottish accent just by saying Lawrence Chaney, and then it's perfect. So
I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's
so. For context, on Drag Race UK season 2. The winner, her name is Lawrence Chaney, but she says it like a normal person would. But for some reason, every single season we've had recently, RuPaul like hyper fixates on someone's name for the entire season. So that season, every time Lawrence did anything, his inflection and the way he said her name was always Lawrence Chaney, like just super exaggerative to the point of annoyance. It's yeah. So that's how I get into my Scottish accent now. Okay. Thank you, Mr. RuPaul. But yes, episode 2, we get off the double-decker bus and we go straight onto a train to Scotland.
Yep, we're still racing. We found out we were still racing. We're
still racing, and we're still in the UK.
It's still like the official, I guess, second leg of this race. It's still happening.
Yeah. So everywhere I've seen, they refer to it as leg 3.
Yeah, but we still racing. I mean, I get it because the pit stop was a pit stop, but it was just a brief pit stop. So I guess leg 3, but I like to say leg 2.0.
Ooh, yes, absolutely. So we get to Glasgow, Scotland.
Everybody's on the same train.
I've seen a lot of discourse on Twitter specifically about like the equalizer. And I personally really like an equalizer. Like everyone's on the same flight, everyone's on the same train, everyone's waiting for the same thing. It didn't really have any super adverse effects overall if you look at like the way people got off the train, because then the real equalizer ended up being, do you know how to drive manual or not? So, right.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the equalizer of the season, when they do. I like both sides of it. I like it when they are like, okay, I'm jumping this flight and, my flight leaves an hour before you. How do you catch up with 30 minutes before you? How do you manage being from the back of the pack to get in the middle of the pack or to the front of the pack? I like that, but I also like it when it's getting to a point where it's always the same teams up front because they're always 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours ahead. that they get stuck at the airport and everybody ends up on the same plane or everybody ends up on the same. I love that. I don't think this early, like you said, it really had no adverse effect on anything because the cars kind of was like, yep.
We really saw, who can drive manual and who can't.
I just don't understand anybody coming on The Amazing Race and at least one person don't know how to drive manual. Like I don't understand that. I'm like, this has been going on for 32. How many?
This is 33.
This is 33. Was 33 seasons in. You
20,
cannot
20
tell
years,
me.
I think. 20.
You cannot tell me I didn't know that I needed to learn how to drive stick. If you watched one season, you need to learn how to drive a stick. Somebody has to, at least one of y'all to know how.
They're always in a European country and you have to drive stick and you have to drive manual. Like it is literally a requirement. And see, like I fully understand that if I were to ever go on The Amazing Race, I don't know who I would do it with. Probably my roommate because we work together very well. But the thing is, whoever I pick, they have to be able to balance out my two biggest weaknesses, which are driving and swimming. Like I know I need to be partnered with a strong swimmer and someone who can drive manual. Right. Like, that's all I know. Otherwise, I can do the heights, I can do the memory, I can do whatever. Those are just the two things that are not my strong suits. And I recognize that.
Me too. Like I always said, if I did The Amazing Race, I would want to do it with my sister. And I was like, she knows how to drive a stick. She knows how to drive a stick. Good. She's driven the stick here for years, so she knows how to do it. So we wouldn't have a problem with that. And her weakness is she doesn't like if they make us eat weird things, something strange. She don't want to eat nothing. She's very picky.
Oh, I'll do it.
So I would have to do it. Now I don't like it, but I would suck it up because I'm like, I don't have a problem. Like, okay, I just got to suck it up and do it. It grosses me out, but I do it. Right. We don't have. She's the strongest swimmer, so swimming will be her thing. Good. Anything with vision that I'm gonna have to see, she needs to do that because I can't see that well. But I can still do others. Like I would love to do that, but I'm like, you just have to know who your strong suits and your weaknesses, so your partner can pick up where you lack. Like I will get us anywhere. I can read a map like nobody's business. I'm not getting us lost. Give me a minute. Like I'll be like, okay, let's slow down. Let me take a look at this map and figure out where we're going before we. Bam! I know where we're going. Let's go. And it won't be I don't understand people who don't know how to use maps, don't know how to drive a stick, and y'all not. It's two of y'all. Neither one of y'all know how to do this.
Right? Like I was thinking about it just now as you were talking. I was like, who would be that person where I balance them and they balance me? And honestly, it would probably be my cousin Michaela because she is a strong swimmer and can drive stick, but has a weak stomach, which is where I'm pretty good. Unless it's dairy, then there's a bit of a problem, but I'd still do it. But
I do it, but I'd be like, once we get to the pit stop, baby, I'm gonna have to run to the bathroom.
I do it, but I'm like, where's my Lactaid? I just need, give me my Lactaid. We're chilling. I'll be good.
Yeah, it's spicy foods. If I eat, I'll do it. But it's like it'll kill me while I'm doing it. I'm like, oh god, I'm dying, but I'm gonna do it. I'm dying.
I have the little bit of my dinner left, and I literally made spicy lettuce wraps. Oh yeah, which is so funny. Yeah, I made spicy beef lettuce wraps for dinner. So
yeah, I can't do not anymore. I used to in my younger days, not in my as I got older. My stomach it was. I guess all the spicy foods I used to eat tore up the line in my stomach no more because it's like nope, I don't want no more. I don't want no more. But let's do the here no deal. Let's not talk about my stomach. Let's talk about Amazing Race.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about our stomachs today. That's not. That's probably a podcast topic for another day.
Honestly. Another day, another time.
And so they have to drive. I forget where the roadblock was. I didn't write down where.
It was something, but it was like a church. It looked like a church,
and they had to go situation.
Yeah.
And so we get the roadblock. Who thinks they have it in the bag?
In the bag.
Now, it's Scotland, and a bunch of these teams even say it in confessional. They're like, we're in Scotland. We expected a bagpipe challenge. I kind of agreed with them. I didn't think it would ever be, building a set of bagpipes.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a really cool roadblock.
It was a cool roadblock because, like, I was thinking it would be more like something along the lines of I have to play this piece or figure out how to work the bagpipe and blend in with the band.
Right.
But building it was an interesting take on it, and it's like you never really see how a bagpipe is put together. So it was interesting to see the bagpipe get put together, all the different pieces that had to go with it, and I think they all did pretty well with this roadblock. Like,
I would say it's one of the easier roadblocks.
Yeah, it
from
was.
memory.
I mean, it was like, look at the instructions and read the instructions. If you just follow and the pictures and put all the little pieces together, it wasn't as difficult, but it would be difficult if you didn't pay attention to all the pieces and, pull it. Like, I'm the kind of person to pull everything out and set everything up to see, so, but I thought it was an easy roadblock and they all seemed to get it pretty good, which I was like, okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
And then the part that I thought was going to be difficult, and then everyone slayed. So then they have to play a note equal to the amount of time that, like, the band was playing. And I was like, oh, I feel like there's going to be some people that struggle with this. And then everyone got it on the first try.
Right.
And I'm like, because I was watching it with my roommate, and he was like, because when Kim goes up, because Kim and Penn end up getting there first, and Kim does the roadblock, and we hear her note, and it's like really not good. And my roommate was like, oh, she's gonna have to do it again. They're gonna lose their lead. Oh no, they're good. Oh, okay, sure. I was just like, okay.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It just had to make a noise. That's all they wanted. But that's what it said. The instructions said it just has to make a sound. It didn't have to be the perfect sound. It just had to be a sound. And hers was like,
sorry, headphone users. That was probably really bad for y'all, but
but that's what it sounded like.
Oh, absolutely.
That's exactly what it sounded like.
So Kim and Penn make it through the roadblock first. We have a couple teams on the struggle bus throughout this whole process of the driving and then in the roadblock. Specifically, Caro and Ray, who I want to touch on in a second. But we also see Isaiah and Taylor getting lost a little bit. And then Akbar and Sherry had some issues with the driving and also the maps.
I'll jump in and say I was very disheartened to see all my black teams falling by the wayside because nobody knew how to drive. And I'm going to say it. I was like, why are all the black folks?
The fact that there have been 3 legs.
Right.
And only one person of color has won a leg so far.
Yeah. And it's one person, and he's part of a team.
And he's partnered with a white man.
Right.
I'm like,
I'm
like, you can't make this up.
I was like, really we can't drive a stick. Oh my.
I was like, no, not this, not today, not here.
I was like, because y'all, I'm rooting for everybody black. I already said that from the first episode, and I meant that. I root for everybody black. Not that I don't like any other teams. I just root for everybody black.
Fair.
But it was so sad to watch them all just like struggle so much. They were on that struggle bus the entire time. And I was like, oh, this is so.
It was painful.
I'll say
it. It was painful to watch.
It was painful to watch it. It was. And I was like, oh, I feel so bad for it. But I'm like, it's okay. They can come back from this. They can do this. But then we got to talk about Ray and Cairo. We have to talk about Ray and Cairo because I think theirs hurt the most. Watching them struggle was the saddest to watch because I was watching it and I was on the phone with my sister at the time, and I'm watching and I'm talking to her, and I'm watching and I was like, why are you this way, man? Because she literally didn't say anything that should have got him that upset. Like, literally.
Did she say anything at all? She was just like sitting in the back seat, like kind of having a panic attack from what it looked like. Like, as someone who does deal with panic attacks, it kind of looked like that. Like, it was just like oh shit, what what do we do? What do we
I
do?
mean, but she really didn't say any. She just literally said, "This is the moment where I wish I could have learned to drive. No, I wish I had my driver's license."
Yep.
Not trying to dog him, but saying, "I wish I could help you
like
in this situation."
She's beating herself up, and then he's doing it to her too.
Right, because I'm like, all she is saying is that she wanted to be of more help. She felt so powerless in this moment. She couldn't help you. She doesn't know how to drive herself. She doesn't have a license, even if she knew how to drive a stick, so she couldn't drive. So she was just saying out loud how powerless she felt in that moment. That was not an attack on him, but he certainly took it as an attack on him and was like, "You don't know what I'm going through." This is the second time in another leg where he decided to pop off because he was doing something that wasn't right, or he was struggling.
Because God forbid she have any sort of reaction to what's happening when it affects both of them.
Both of them. Like, she can't say any, like, and then his tangent about, oh, this negative thinking I can't deal with. Like, that wasn't negative thinking.
I just try to give positive vibes and everything.
No, you don't.
Ray? No.
No, you don't.
No.
Because there was nothing positive about what you were saying when she was literally trying to help you, or just saying, "I wish I could help you."
And in the last leg, who was it that fucked up the roadblock again?
You did, Ray. You did. And then she was like, only asked the question on why did it take so long when it was taking everybody else 15 seconds. And you, because you didn't want to admit that you just screwed up. I overthink things. I messed up. That was on me, babe. That's what you should have said, sir. This is welcome to what I should have said theater. I messed up. I screwed up. That was on me. I overthink it. I just needed to, I just didn't think it was that simple. So that's on me. That's what you should have said, Ray, and seen. That's what you should have said. But what you decided to do was get in your feelings and go off, and you don't know, and you don't know. And what she knew was that everybody else was taking 30 seconds and you were taking 30 minutes. Yep. That's all she knew.
Well, and the other thing that's difficult is, like, they end up pulling over for a second because Ray needs a moment, and, like, Kara's trying to be apologetic, which I understand from her perspective. I also will say, I'm not defending him in the slightest, but I did understand this moment a little bit when he was like, I just, like, thank you, but I just don't need to be touched right now, because I do understand that. It just, the way he went about that whole situation as well wasn't great, but I do understand his mindset of, like, okay, I'm having a little bit of anxiety as well. I understand that, like, this is within me, but, like, also, like, I appreciate that you're trying to, like, apologize and console me, but also, like, I don't need this right now. And it ultimately boils down to the fact that they met on Love Island and are in a relationship long distance. Because if you're with someone for enough time,
you understand
their anxiety responses, their depression responses, their, like,
stress,
their stress responses. Like, you understand all of that, so it's a little bit easier. And they just don't have that level of emotional maturity as a couple, because this is probably, I would assume, the first, and I would say probably the last, we'll talk about it, experience they've had in a stressful situation together, because otherwise they were sitting on a beach in Hawaii. Right.
There was no stress on Love Island. It was
no. The stress was, oh, is he gonna pick me today?
Right. Did they pick me today? Right. It wasn't about, and I get that. And that is something that is very much something you take into account when you're choosing your partner on going on something like this. We've seen married couples on this show fall apart.
Yep.
Like, and they've been married for years, and they fall apart on this race because they haven't been, spent time like this.
Yeah.
In a stressful situation, 24/7, always something you got to do, and it's go, and they fall apart. New couples have it harder because, like you said, they don't know the how to treat their partner when they're stressed or when they're anxiety is rising, or when they're panicky, or when they're down. It takes it takes some time to know those reactions. Like I know with my sister and me, for example, if I go on a race, I know when she's like, when she says stuff like, you know what, I'm fine, don't worry about it. No, it's good. She's not good.
No, you're not good at all.
She's not good, but she needs me to back up a little bit and be like, give her space so she can be quiet, so she can think things through. Just like me, I get a little like, okay, she knows when I get panicky to just calm down. Don't tell me to calm down, because that's the wrong thing you need to say.
Don't say the words, but evoke the feeling.
But she knows to pull back and let me get out my, this little moment. And we'll have moments, and understand that we'll have those moments. And so you just have to know your partner. Absolutely. And how to deal with each other in those situations. And like you said, they're just new. They just don't know how to deal with that.
I think back to the fucking blind date season, which honestly is one of my favorite seasons, because it's just chaos.
It was chaos.
It's just chaos and buffoonery. But I think back to all of the couples that had their problems on that season. Oh God.
I really felt like that season was so ridiculous in a lot of ways, but it was good in a lot of ways, because we got some good people out of it. But I'm like, I'm not going on the Amazing Race to find love. Like, I don't care about, I don't have to like you to run this race. I just need you to run and get me through this race. I'm not trying to go on a show like The Amazing Race to find love. That's not my only reason I'm going on Amazing Race is to win $1 million and traveling around the world
and to see the world. Yeah,
to see the world for free and get $1 million in the end. I don't need love. If I wanted love, I'll go on Love Island. I'll go on the Bachelor. I don't. So it was just an interesting season. Yeah. But yeah,
that was
interesting.
Very. But that's where Team Fun came from, right? Yes, they're my favorite team of all time. That, and I would have to say as well, as much as a lot of people hate them, Brendan and Rachel, and then similarly, Rachel and Alyssa on the reality.
I like Rachel and Alyssa better than I like Brendan and Rachel. I do.
Yeah, I think I do as well.
I feel like, because not that Brandon is I'm not going to say he's a punk or nothing, but he lets Rachel do whatever Rachel wants to do. And he like literally, but he knows her. So he knows how she's going to react, and he knows how to calm her down. Yeah. He just lets her go. Alyssa, on the other hand, when she wasn't feeling it with Rachel, she would let Rachel know, like, you need to calm down. Like, you're doing too much.
Lana, in our off season, do we recap that season? Because honestly,
I'm okay with that.
I'm down, because also the pairing of Brittany and Janelle just always made me so happy. Like, we're gonna have to do that at some point, because I need to watch that season again. But yeah, so everyone finishes their bagpipes at the roadblock. They drive to Alexandra Park, which looked beautiful. All of the Scottish scenery, I was like, yes.
It was gorgeous.
I wish we were in, like, the Highlands. Like, I wish we kind of weren't in Glasgow. But I understand, like, first couple legs, we want to, like, be in a more urban environment. They probably, like, knew that COVID was happening, so it felt like some of these things were a little bit easier. But they drive to Alexandra Park. We get the clue for the detour, which is Kilt or Rebuilt, which is either the singing and dancing challenge that they always have, or you have to watch these very attractive Scottish men take apart and rebuild some barrels. I don't know which one I would have done, honestly.
I 100% know which one I would have did.
I probably would have done Kilts.
I would have definitely done Kilt.
You would have definitely done, you definitely would have done Kilt. Had I known prior to choosing that there were attractive Scottish men at the Rebuilt, I may have been swayed.
But I would have 100%. I was on the phone with my sister at the time, and I was like, "Oh, we would have killed this roadblock." I said, "Yeah, I mean this detour." I was like, "We go sing it." She said, "We would have did it in harmony and everything." Like I would have.
And who else did? Kind of was Kim and Penn. I would like to spend a very long period of time talking about Penn's diva moment.
I'm about to say, Penn turned into Mariah Carey at that moment.
So I had scrolled Twitter a little bit during a commercial break, so I knew that I knew of the diva moment, but I didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, well, I wasn't taught a 4-measure break. Like, I don't know why I wasn't taught this. And I'm like, sir, it's not that deep.
It's really not.
I swear it's not that deep.
It's really not. Like just...
I was like, oh no.
like, bruh, just do it again. You're the only team there. Do it again. Like,
y'all know you were the first ones to get the detour clue. Like,
it's like he was having a moment that didn't need to happen. I was like, whoo. I was not taught this 4 count. I was like, it's a children's song. I wasn't taught
that there was a 4 count break. Like, I was like, count rest. Like,
I was like, it's a children's song. Just, it's not that deep.
Literally.
Relax.
Like, oh my God. We'll talk about, I think it was Isaiah. Yeah, it was Isaiah and Taylor when they do theirs. And they're like living their full moment. And they're like blocking the kids out of the performance. And the kids are in the background like amazing.
It was a fun detour to watch. I enjoyed that because like I was like, oh yeah, I'm so lit down for that. I would totally do that, and like get in there, sing it, and get out of there. Like that would be my rope detour to win, like for sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's likely where I would have ended up because dance, music, all the things. Those are the challenges that I would succeed in. But yes, so I mean, this was like how the first episode, one leg was literally for Ryan and Dusty, and the other leg was literally for Anthony and Spencer. This leg is literally for Kim and Penn.
Yep.
They don't see anyone else the entire time and win the leg. And I was happy to see a woman win a leg. It's episode 2, and I was like, I need to see a woman winning a leg, please. And they win a trip to Cape Cod. Okay, sure.
Look, a trip anywhere is great for me. I would take a trip to Atlanta, Georgia, and I live in Alabama.
Same.
I say free trips are great trips. It doesn't matter where. You can send me to Montgomery, Alabama from Birmingham, and I'm like, it's a free trip. Thank you. And
not Montgomery. I've been to Montgomery.
I used to live in Montgomery. Sure. So
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's okay. I graduated there. It's fine.
Yeah. So Kim and Penn come in first, and then we get a cluster of 5 teams that all did the same detour, which I thought was interesting. So it's Ryan and Dusty, Anthony and Spencer, Connie and Sam, Kara and Ray, and Raquel and Kayla, in that order, all of them having basically gotten to the detour at the same time. And they all like pretty much leave within, like, it seems like 10 minutes of each other. And then they all get to the pit stop within 10 minutes of each other, which I thought it's always weird when those like waves of teams like do that. And then the other strange part is no one else does that detour except for Arun and Natalia, who end up switching detours.
Yes.
What did you think about that? Because I have thoughts, but
I feel like I have a problem with switching detours because I feel like that always puts you so far behind, because especially if the detour is two detours are so far away from each other, that's travel time, and then, you know, and I feel like she was giving up on that. The second she got there, it was like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, she didn't try to push herself to do it. She was just like, I hit it. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. Like, I feel like they could have stayed and went at it like they did the darts, but anything that was too labor filled, she just really showed she doesn't want to do it. Like I mean, and she's done that before in this, like she said, like it's just like, should we switch? And it's like always into the switching because something's too hard. I'm like, girl, you about to be a doctor. You can't be doing that. If the surgery is too hard, you can't just quit.
Right.
If a patient is too difficult, you can't just quit. So I felt like she should have tried to stick it out. They could have did better, but
yeah. The interesting thing as well is like he's doing this interview as they're like taking off all the like building stuff, and he's like, "This just isn't what I expected." What did you expect?
Right.
You're building a barrel.
A barrel.
What did you expect, sir? Like, huh? I was very confused by this whole thing.
The moment I read that I was building barrels after we picked it, I'd be like, "Oop, no, we gotta switch this right away." Because I know, like you know yourself. I'm not a builder kind of person, so yeah, that's not going to be for me.
Yeah, unless it's like 2 building detours, then I'm not going to be doing a building task.
Right.
But yeah, so we got the last 4 teams being Akbar and Sherry, Isaiah and Taylor, Arun and Natalia, and Lulu and Lala all end up doing the kilt detour at different intervals. We end up seeing the one that was kind of like broke away from the pack a little bit, ended up in 7th, was Lulu and Lala, which I was happy to see because they had been struggling and they got their stuff together in the train ride from London to Glasgow. So I was happy to see it because I really like them. And then it's all people of color at the back of the pack. And I was like, no.
Kind of sick.
No. Well, and Lulu and Lala as well.
Lulu and Lala. I mean, but they were also 7th. They were also in the back of the pack.
Yes, 7th, I was going to say, not saying they aren't people of color, because they are.
They are, but they're still in the back of the pack, too. So it's kind of like, oh.
And then out of nowhere, Isaiah and Taylor pull out the performance of a century in this detour, blocking out these children, living their best lives. I was so happy to see it. They end up 8th.
They thought they were Beyonce, Rihanna on stage, baby.
Absolutely.
They were living in their moments, and they were not going to be upstaged by anybody, children included. So
I mean, if there's one thing that most gays can do very well, it's perform.
Period.
I am one of them, so I understood. And then we see Arun and Natalia finish the detour first, and I was like, no, because I didn't want to see anyone at the back of the pack go home. Honestly, I was like, I don't want any of you to go. And then Akbar and Sherry finished their detour, and I was like, oh my god, okay. And then Arun and Natalia. Oh, was it?
Yeah, Akbar and Sherry finished first, and then Arun and...
I thought it was Arun and Natalia because they stopped for instructions for the 47th time.
Well, no, at the detour, Akbar and Sherry won first,
and then they left. And Natalia, and then they had the car problems. Yep.
Right, they had car problems. They had instructions. Both of them had to stop and get directions. Yeah, and yeah, it was a lot of back and forth, and who's going to get it? I don't know.
Well, it happened. And Akbar and Sherry made it 9th, and I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, thank you, Jesus. I just need them to catch a break. Please. Like, upsetting. And then we lose Arun and Natalia.
That was sad, too.
I was very sad. I love how much she was supporting him through the whole kilt detour because it clearly was not his thing.
Right.
The entire time he was doing it, I was just like, oh no. And I can confirm from my roommate who is from India that is how Indian dads act. That is a stereotypical Indian dad, according to my roommate who is from India. So, just for some insight, in case you were curious, the whole time he was like, "Yep, this is how an Indian dad." Yep, 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 yep. The whole time, I was like, "I love this." And then we find out, but we already knew.
We knew,
but they find out.
Yes.
Because of the good old COVID,
Rona,
Miss Rona
came through and wreaking havoc and shut everything down.
And it's done. They're headed back.
They're home.
And then 19 months later.
So sick. Like, that's over a year. They had to wait.
So I had heard some things when they went back into production. So 19 months would have been the end of September of last year. So they ran the second part of this race 5 months ago. Wild. So absolutely crazy. Wild.
Insane.
And we get a couple snippets.
We see some things like when they come running back, everybody who wasn't eliminated didn't come back.
No, and I was going to say we need to talk about that because I noted down who wasn't there.
I did too.
Okay, so the people we didn't see, the one that is not obvious or is not
a surprise,
like not a surprise whatsoever, Cara and Ray. We had since found out, we talked about it in the last episode, they broke up. They did break up.
Although, for me, just me personally,
I don't give a fuck if I don't care if we broke your ass back here.
We gonna do this and we gonna finish this. I don't care if we broke up. We ain't got to be together. I ain't got to be with you to run this race. That is what I'm trying to figure. But I'm not everybody.
And also, they get paid for every leg that they complete.
Right.
So, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. We're going to get paid some more. Like,
I don't care if we are together. I'm not trying to get back with you. This is not a ploy for us to get back together. I just want to finish this race.
We started this together.
We go finish this. And I don't care
how much I hate you. We're going to finish this together. Absolutely.
At least let us try to be friends at the end of this thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to get back with you. We don't have to be in a relationship, but I at least want to be civil.
My hope, and I have no clue, I have no, validation behind this whatsoever. I hope that Caro said yes and Ray said no, and she was allowed to pick another teammate. That is my hope.
Well, I don't know what
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I have my own thought. I have my theories on what is going to happen, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
So Caro and Ray were not there. Connie and Sam weren't there.
That shocked me and saddened me all at the same time.
Same.
I was like, not Connie and Sam.
He did, I will say, we didn't talk about it. He had his little moment in the episode as well. He had his little, why aren't you reading the map properly moment? But he recovered from it. We saw that little twinge of I told you a Bobby is a person.
Right.
We had another moment there, but he recovered from that, so I was cool. But yeah, that one surprised me. The other one that surprised me the most, upset me the most, and I'm hoping it's not true, was Isaiah and Taylor.
Yeah.
And I am sincerely hoping that nothing happened to them.
Right. See, and that's the thing. I'm not going to automatically assume that people split up or broke. They could have got sick. COVID is the real thing. So family members could have been sick.
Exactly.
I mean, COVID was something that is something that is still wrecking this country and wrecking this world right now. And so maybe it might not be their relationship that suffered or anything like that. It could be something of sickness. It could be something of depression, because that was a hard time we lived through, that they lived through in that 19 months. Yeah. So we don't really know, but hopefully
I could never. Like 19 months later, if I February 2020 to September 2021, my mindset would have been so completely different. I don't know if I would have gone back.
I would have gone back. But see, it's two ways you could have handled this. I feel like it's two ways you could have handled this. The first way is you could have been like, no, I can't do it. That's too long of a time. We don't know what their finances are, their jobs, their lives.
Situations.
They might not have been able, the time that they carved out for this time could have been all the time that they had. Yep. So they couldn't carve out more. People got kids. They don't know if we can watch their kids. They got to go back to school. Who's going to watch their family and things of like that? So we have to think about that. But that's one thing. It's like, it's a lot of variables that could have happened where people decided not to come back. Yeah. But you could have took that time to say, you know what, this isn't going to work for me. I did what I could. Maybe another season we'll work on it, but not this one. Yeah. Or you could have took that 19 months. Because they had a very rare opportunity to actually run 2 legs of this race and
Phil even said so. Yeah, you have the opportunity.
You ran 2 legs, so you see what's it going to take, what your weaknesses are, what you can build up, and you could go home and take that 19 months and work on that. I would have learned how to drive a stick. If I didn't know how to drive a stick, I would have worked out. If I felt like my stamina wasn't up to par, I need to work out and build up some strength. I would have took that 19, as long as it takes. Yep. I will still be in race mode, but I'm gonna be at home in training for the race mode. I will go back into training, because it's like you could either fall or you can come back better than ever. You had a unique opportunity to come back better. So I would have taken that time to learn some languages. I would have got me some
Rosetta Stones.
Rosetta Stones up in here. I would learn some languages so I know how I don't know where we're going, but I'm gonna learn every language I can.
At least 1 or 2 per continent, honestly.
Right. Exactly.
And especially in this time, my mindset would be A, learn the languages, but B, look at where they've done things before. Look at the most popular countries and then look at their COVID rates.
Right.
Comparatively. Because if I don't see any universe where they do a leg in the 2 countries that they've done the most legs in,
India,
across 33 seasons, India and China. Yeah, I don't see them.
I don't see that happening at all.
Don't learn any of the Indian languages. Don't learn Chinese. There's no shot.
There's no way they're going there. But they will definitely learn. I think they'll go down to New Zealand or Australia. Yep. I think they will go to
maybe North Africa, maybe.
North Africa, maybe.
In Egypt, is somewhere in the Eurasia, a Dubai again.
Right.
Maybe because I'm actually kind of curious. My thought process is, are they just, because we see them land. Oh, so they're not in Scotland when we get back, by the way. They are in Switzerland, which I love. Another country that I think is up there as far as the top destinations that they've gone. So I'm curious to see if they're going to do it all in Europe.
I mean, I can see that, because you got Switzerland. They can do Norway. They can do Denmark, Amsterdam. I mean, all of those areas are places that they've been.
All of the countries that had really low COVID rates in September, honestly. So you know what I just thought of as well? What if people refuse to get vaccinated?
That's another thing.
Because we know from Survivor and from Big Brother in the COVID time that they required vaccinations, at least and that would have been around the time Survivor would have just finished filming for 42, I believe. Big Brother would have been done a couple months before that, or it would have been right around that time. There would have been a few weeks actually in between. So there's very likely to be a vaccination requirement. Maybe some people didn't get vaccinated. I didn't even think about that until just now.
Yeah, that's definitely a reason. Some people, as we know, are just not going to do it. They don't want to do it. I don't understand it, but they just don't want to do it.
Here at The Cup, we support getting all of your vaccinations and wearing a mask still, because guess what? We're still in a global pandemic, people.
Still.
And I don't like talking about this stuff, but it's necessary.
It's necessary. Get your vaccinations, get your boosters, wear your mask.
Wear 2 of them. Wear 3 of them.
Like, literally protect yourself and protect other people around you. And don't be crazy. If you have COVID, stay at home. Don't be trying to go out because I understand some people, they feel like they need to work and they have to work because they don't have money. I get that too, but
I get it.
Sacrifices need to be made. If you feel you got COVID, don't go out there.
Yeah. This has been a lovely PSA from your 2 favorite divas here at the Cup. But no, I'm very excited to see how, because I watch reality TV for the reality TV aspect of it all, like the competitions, all of that. I watch it more so for the logistics and the production and how they're run. And especially in this time of COVID, like the way that like these shows like Drag Race and Big Brother and Survivor have been operating, that's what I'm most excited to see from the rest of this season of The Amazing Race is how they did it. Because I'm genuinely surprised.
I'm very interested in that because these are uncharted territories for all of these shows. Like, none of these shows had to produce a show in such times, and especially this show where they are traveling around the world. And you are not just putting yourself at risk, but everybody in that crew, on that production, and those contestants, like all of those people have to travel with you. So it's interesting to see how they did it. Like since we see that they are in Switzerland when they come back, I was shocked because I'm like, I was prepared for them to do a continental domestic race,
and we talked about that. Yeah,
we did, because I felt like I don't know if the world was going to be open for them to go out and do this.
Like, are these countries like I bet that there were countries that were just like, no, we're not letting Americans into our country. Like, no, we're not doing that.
I'm sure they were saying that, and I'm sure it was places that the production was like, we are not going there. No. So I'm interested to see what is going to happen. And we see that they Phil during the teaser for the next episode mentioned the teams that were missing. And he mentioned that they're bringing back familiar faces.
That's what I was going to talk about as well. Like,
so I feel like it's going to be Arun and Natalia and Maurice and Mo.
Michael?
What did I say, Maurice? Michael.
It's Mo, the cops, the Buffalo cops.
The cops. Michael and Mo.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's Michael and Mo. Sure. I'm sorry, Michael and Mo, or Maurice and Mo, whatever. You're first boo. I need to learn you more if you come back. Right. So I think they're going to bring them back.
I think so too.
And I think they're just going to run with those teams that are there plus those two, which I think is fair because it's like they were the first 2 teams eliminated. 5 teams didn't come back.
I think it's 3.
3?
Kara and Ray, Connie and Sam, and Isaiah and Taylor.
You're right. So 3 didn't come back.
Yeah.
And
so that would be 8.
8. So they bring 2 back, which will be, it's not a big difference.
No.
And I'm sure they'll do maybe a double at one point if it's too many, but I don't think it'll be a huge deal to bring those 2 back. And I think it's fair. And it gives them a second chance to run this race as well and show that they weren't just.
Everyone has a clean slate.
It literally, the race starts over at this moment.
Yeah. I'm curious as well, do you think there's going to be any, because the way that Phil said familiar faces and the reactions that we saw, I think Kayla, your favorite Kayla,
overreacting
a little bit, makes me think maybe there's all-star teams involved because they couldn't fill slots.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I really feel like it it really would make sense to bring back more than 2 teams because only 2 teams were eliminated. So why not just bring back the 2 teams that were eliminated and start the race over?
Unless the only other thing I could think of is like if there are if they want to get it back up to 9, which is where we were, or back up to 11 to get a full cast. Those are the 2 scenarios. I think your scenario is what's going to happen.
Yeah. Or what if Arun and Natalia couldn't come back, or Mike and Mo? Exactly. What if one of them couldn't come back? So they could do because
or what if one person from a team that didn't show up has a new partner? I think we're gonna see a new partner.
Maybe.
I think we're gonna see a new person. I don't know any spoilers for this season. Normally, breaking the fourth wall. I normally know what's happening on a lot of these seasons because I subscribe to the spoilers. It's just something I do. I can't help myself with most of these shows. With this one, I genuinely have no clue, and it makes me incredibly excited. Just to see what's going to happen. But my theory is that we're going to see at least one new person, if not maybe a whole new team, maybe an alternate team, because they have a few alternates in case,
of course,
last minute maybe they pulled some of those alternate teams.
It's a lot that they could do because they had 19 months to do it.
Exactly.
They had 19 months.
They could have done a whole brand new internal casting process from the videos they had already had. And hey, are y'all willing to go race around the world in this Panda Express that we're happening? Okay, cool. Yep, come on. Sure. That might be a little unfair because then they're already 2 legs in.
I mean, but I think starting right now is just clean slate. Everybody started, it's not. But yeah, those other teams have had chance to run, a couple legs and see, what it's like,
especially together as a partnership too.
Right,
it's
new teams coming in and doing it, but it's it's been 19 months. It ain't the same for them either. It's starting over for them too. So
I'm very excited for Wednesday. I'm excited to see how they do it. Who's coming back? Who's not coming back? It's going to be really exciting. This season is shaping up to be really good.
It is. I'm excited to see how they react starting over again in 19 months later. Did any team come back better than before? Did any teams come back weaker than before?
I will say the one team that it looked like they had maybe their stuff together a little bit more just from the little bit we saw, I will say Akbar and Sherry, it did look like they were a little bit more rejuvenated than they were the first time. So maybe a lot of people came back looking a little different. Sherry's hair, I love Sherry's hair. Love the hair.
I'm about to say a Black woman is always gonna come back with different hair, baby. We ain't gonna never come with the same hair we used to have.
Exactly.
No, thank you, not at all.
Lana will rotate hers in a few months. It'll be good, or a few weeks, or whatever.
In a few weeks, maybe. Who knows?
Sure. We love the purple moment that I definitely thought was blue when I first saw it, but it's 100% purple.
Might be blue next time.
Sure, do it. Side note, I'd love to see you in an electric green.
A green.
Neon green. I don't know why I feel it. I feel it. I feel it.
I mean, if I can find a cute one that's you know me, I try everything.
Absolutely. Oh yeah,
as long as I don't look like Bozo the Clown, that's cool.
5 or 6 different changes since I've known you, at least.
At least,
but we love to see it. Oh, so that is episode 2 of The Amazing Race. We'll be back in 19 months.
19 months.
Just kidding. We'll be back next week.
Next week.
We upload these on Saturdays?
Saturdays,
yes, that day. There's a lot of... If y'all haven't noticed, there's a lot of videos going out on this channel now because everyone and their mother has decided to put out their reality shows in January or February.
And we go follow them.
We're going to try to, at least. Maybe not all of it, but we're going to do our best. Most of it. But with that, Lana, cheers.
Cheers, my love. Cheers, clinkety clank.
Clank, Clink, clink. Goodbye.
Goodbye now.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for
Bye-bye.
coming.
No, well, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Why are you still here?